All right, so welcome to another video. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at energy stocks. Do we buy these hot stocks or that have been trending higher here recently? And that's what we'll be talking about here today. Keep in mind that these are recommendations to buy, sell, or trade. Anything, just my own personal thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to also check things out on our website here at tradersfly.com. And you can also see some of the live classes here that we have coming up and some of the ones that we've recently done as well. And you can also take a look at our Discord channel where I post some charts and technicals there as well. All right, so let's kick things off. We're going to go ahead and get started with some energy stocks. I'm going to give you some of the technical analysis behind them and just my own personal thoughts. I won't be going into too many option strategies because there's a ton of strategies that you could do when it comes to these stocks, but a lot of these stocks have been powering higher. Like if you base it off the XLE or the energy sector, you can see we've really had a nice move to the upside, and now recently we've had quite a significant break right here. So the question is are we going to sustain this move or break, or what levels can we expect, and what are some of the other stocks doing in there? Because that's also something to watch, because this is affected between quite a handful of companies like XOM. We've got CVX. Let me just take a look here. EOG. COP and many others. So these kind of create a basket of this ETF and how it's behaving and performing. So anyway, a lot of these stocks have powered higher, and as you know, as you get too far extended to one way, more than likely you'll get a retracement or pull back the other way. So it's kind of like a spring. It coils quite a big way. And if you spring to the upside so quickly, you'll probably get that pullback. And that's what we're seeing here right now. I actually did short some of these already, and I got out of it today. It actually took me out because for a profit, I got out, and it was an automatic good till cancel order, and that trade is already done. So getting back in it for me right now is not as favorable. But looking at where this could go, if I start taking a look at some other technicals and just start looking at, hey, where's the flow? Here I've color coded some things blue for you guys. So anything blue actually continues on a nice flow and progression, kind of above these moving averages. And right now it's still kind of holding that level. So from that perspective, it looks good. So just to show you the way that this works, when you have some choppiness, it just has regular colors, but once you're starting to pick up some good trend, kind of like Heiken-Ashi, this starts to then create some different colors of blue, and that's what we've got right here. So we've got still this flow, and this flow is still above here right now, so it still looks okay. I would watch out for the volume here that's picking up some bearish volume a little bit. It's not anything significant or major, but it is starting to pick up. And with this big break, that does spell a little bit of trouble. When you come off the highs and you're coming in with a double top right there, that is a little bit troubling. So be a little bit more careful there and mindful. So anyway, as we take a look at some of these things here, and we start looking at, okay, I say, let's look at some of the individual names in here, because when you start looking at this, you say, okay, well, what level can it get to? And I think some of this also depends on some of the individual names that go with it as well. So let's see here, some of the names that are in here. We're going to start with one of the bigger holdings, which is ExxonMobil. And you can see with ExxonMobil, what we've had is this kind of long upward progression right here, and then the stock is breaking back down. It started showing some weakness. We had an overextension at the 90. Same thing here. You can see we had that breakdown right there. So this was basically your double top. A little bit of trouble. You've got earnings 429. So watch out for the earnings, because it's just literally right around the corner. Right there, I think, yeah, the 29th. Yeah, so just a few days here out. I think when you're looking at some support levels, like right here, this is the support you're looking at, okay? And we've hit that a few times. So I think it's quite possible it can get there. And then what would happen is that now you'd have some sideways action. Look, we've had this markup stage where we went up, okay, and then we're going sideways. So it's not unheard of, not unreasonable, and I think it's fine. We just had a few little bit of extension points here in the stock. So looking at this one, I would definitely watch that about 76 price level there. It's not massive selling pressure or anything at this point in time. You've got a little bit of selling pressure, but be careful. This thing could come back down to about that 75, 76 level. If we look at CVX, Here's another one for you. Same concept. Like if you start looking at these, they will behave fairly closely. And look at this. We've got kind of this, again, massive markup, good bullish volume. So this one looked very nice to the upside. It was moving really well. But now we've got this sideways consolidation a bit. And we're getting back down at about that 155 price point. So this 155 price level is kind of looking to be somewhat of support, but even though we broke it a little bit, we're going to see if that continues. The bearish volume is starting to pick up some speed. It's not fully panic mode or anything like that, but watch out that if we don't get back over there, this could start creating a downward trend. So again, a little bit of some issues here in this stock, you know, initially. EOG is another one, which if you start looking at them, they're all kind of working in this way, and we've got this compression here around 120, massive breakdown. You know, we had this nice run up kind of, and it was doing quite well, but again, we're starting to break down right at that sweet spot of 120, and that's kind of a little bit of a selling pressure that came in. Checking out COP, and you can see the trend very similar right here, right at 100, which is a psychological level. You also had some toppy levels there with resistance. Okay, and now this is breaking down. The volume here on the bearish side is not anything major, so it's okay, but you are breaking through right here. Like if you look at how much we took out, you know, March, April almost in just those few days. So if you didn't take profits, it's coming back right now. And could this be a nice adding opportunity? Yeah, I mean, if you're still interested in it, now you're kind of buying it or near this level of January again, kind of, which is before the war or before the Ukrainian-Russian war right here. You're coming right back into that zone. So when you start looking at things like that, then this is definitely you know, a bit of issues in a lot of these stocks. Let's do one more here. Schlumberger, just to show you right here, also starting to break down. A little bit of volume that's negative, but nothing extreme. But again, notice the pattern that's happening in a lot of these stocks. They've all been running up very well, just like with the XLE. They've been running well, and then we got this bearish volume that's coming in, sell off there and coming into kind of some resistance, and they're all kind of behaving in this way. So the whole sector is kind of pulling down a little bit. And I think when we're starting to look at some of these, it's not unheard of and it's not abnormal for these things to pull back even halfway from that breakout, and then still continue to follow through. Now the halfway point on this, which you'll see, is right around this level, right around that halfway point. And that's going to put you right around 67 in the XLE. So when the XLE, if you're trying to buy the dip on the energy stocks, number one, you got to watch out for earnings. Number two, watch for the XLE. When the XLE is kind of around 66, 67, that's probably a better value buying opportunity on even the individual names that you're looking at, because then the whole energy sector is kind of coming down and have pulled back a bit. Right now, 2 days, maybe 3 days into it, I think it might be a little early, but it's fine if you're like starting to like nibble a little bit. Like let's say you're okay with getting into the positions maybe 3 or 4 times over the next couple of weeks, then that might be fine. Other than that, I might wait till this thing pulls back, you know, a few more days. You know, you might get 2 or 3 days up, then 5 days down, then 2-3 days up. And by then, as we continue progressing, if we can get to about 66, 67, then that could be a better value buying spot for kind of any of those energy plays or anything even somewhat remotely related. Is wait till the sector kind of comes down a little bit to start buying into the dip. That's just my personal take. Obviously, it could continue to just bounce right here and explode again, but you know, this thing's quite stretched from when you start looking at it. From the swing lows, you're up like 50%, and that's just massive and quite extended. So I'd just be a little bit more careful when jumping into something like this. Anyway, hope that helps. Thanks so much for joining me. Appreciate it. Don't forget to check out our live classes, courses, or if you want to do a one-on-one coaching session, you could also book that on the Traders Fly website, where we could talk about your trading strategies. If you want me to kind of dissect things and mastermind some stuff for you, we could also go over that in detail as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.